Assalamualaikum students, this is Miss Maruk from SM Public Academy Campus 5. I hope you all are fine and taking good care of yourselves. Let's start today's lecture. So we were reading A Mother for a Lion. Today we are going to read page number 62 till page number 65. Okay, so what did we read in our last lesson? We read that the lion cub was taken to the cargo ship. There everything was new for him. And he started to explore. Okay, he started peeping into cabins and cupboards. There he found the ship's dog. And what was the name of the ship's dog? Jess. Okay, there he found Jess. At first, Jess didn't notice the lion cub. Why? Do you remember the reason? Jess, the ship's dog, was so sad. Okay? She was sad because her puppies were taken away from her and were sold away. That's why she was so sad. She didn't even notice the lion cub. But after a while, when Lion Cub came to Jess and petted her, she noticed the little lion cub. And then both the animals developed friendship. They began to play, and everybody came to see them. All right? When they got tired after playing, they went to sleep. Let's read the further pages of this lesson. Page number 62. Keep your fingers on the lines that I am reading. Okay? For many months, the ship sailed the seas. The lion cub was playful and friendly, and all the sailors loved him. Jess was like a mother to him, and the two animals spent nearly all their time together. So it was a cargo ship. And I told you that cargo ship transports the goods from one place to another. So, for months, it remains in the sea. The lion cub was so playful and friendly that everybody loved him. And Jess was like a mother to him. Jess was the ship's dog, right? And she was just like a mother to the lion cub. And both the animals spent their all time together. But the lion cub grew very quickly, and the sailors found it hard to feed him. Feed means to give food. They were still fond of him, but they didn't play with him so often now because his teeth and claws were getting too sharp. The lion cub was growing very quickly, and the sailors found it hard to feed him. They still liked the lion cub, but they didn't play with him Why? Because his teeth and claws were getting sharper day by day. What shall we do with him? They sometimes said. He is bigger than Jess now. He'll soon grow even more, and we can hardly keep a full-grown lion walking about on the deck. So both the sailors started thinking for the lion cub. They were deciding what to do with the cub because he was getting bigger and bigger. Okay, and he was even bigger than the Jess. So they were worried that if he will soon grow more, just like a full-grown lion, it would be very difficult to keep him on the ship. Okay, because lion is a wild animal. We cannot keep lion like this. It is dangerous, right? So they were worried for this. We'd better give him to a zoo when he reach home, said one sailor. Then we can visit him. So one of the sailors suggested to give the lion cub to the zoo, and he said that we can visit him. So when the ship reached home, the sailors gave the lion cub to a zoo. We'll come and see you tomorrow, they said, for the ship was to be in port for 5 days. So what happened? When the ship reached home, they gave the lion cub to the zoo. Okay, because it was fully grown and it was harder for them to feed the lion cub now. That's why they gave the lion cub to the zoo. And they said the cub that they will come tomorrow to visit him. They said goodbye and waved their hands. The lion cub blinked his yellow eyes and opened his mouth in a wide yawn, for he did not really understand. So after listening to the conversation of the sailors, he was confused. The lion cub was confused. He didn't really understand that. Okay? But that night, as he lay in a strange dark cage, he felt lonely and unhappy. The sailors left the lion cub in the zoo and they went away. So the lion cub was alone in the cage, and it was the first night that he was alone. So that's why he felt lonely and unhappy in that dark, strange cage. Okay? He missed the sailors, and most of all, he missed Jess, his dog mother. So the little lion cub was missing the sailors and his dog mother. He walked up and down in the cage and pressed himself against the bars. So he was walking up and down in the cage and he was pressing the bars of the cage. He stared at the stars twinkling in the sky. Stared means gazed. looked at something for a long time. Okay? He stared at the stars twinkling in the sky. Why was he doing all this? What do you understand by this? Yes, he was missing his mother and sailors, and he was unhappy and lonely in the cage. That's why he was doing all this, okay? Then he opened his mouth as widely as he could, and he roared and roared. Roar is a long cry made by lions. Okay? So he started roaring. Next morning, almost as soon as the zoo opened, in came the sailors, leading Jess on the piece of rope. They went up to the lion cub's cage, saying, "Hello, little one, how do you feel today?" So next day, the sailors and Jess, the dog, came to visit the lion cub. And they said hello to the cub and asked, "How do you feel today?" As they spoke, Jess gave a yelp of joy and jerked her rope free. Yelp of joy. Yelp. Yelp means sudden short cry. Okay? So as soon as they saw the little lion cub, Jess gave a sudden cry of joy. She was so happy and she jerked. Jerked means pulled, okay? And she pulled her rope free. And in 1 second, she had slipped through the bars to her friend. She was so happy that within a second, she slipped the bars, she crossed the bars of the cage and was there with her friend. Who was her friend? The cub, the lion cub. Okay? Let's see the new words of these 2 pages. Friendly. Full grown. Full grown means adult. Waved. Waved means moved. Like we wave our hands when we are saying goodbye. Stared. Stared means gazed. Roared. Yelp. Yelp means a sudden short cry. Jerked. Jerked means pulled. I hope you have underlined these new words with me in your books. Let's turn the page now. Oh, how pleased the lion cub was to see her. He sniffed at her in delight and patted her gently with his paws. So lion cub was so happy to see Jess, okay? He sniffed at her, he smelled at her in happiness, in pleasure. And patted means tapped, and tapped her gently with his paws. Then the 2 animals sat down together in the straw, and both of them were happy again. So lion cub was lonely and unhappy in the cage. He was missing sailors and Jess. When Jess came to him, he was happy again. Straw. Do you know the meaning of straw? Straw means fodder, or it is the dried stalk of grass or grains. Okay? It was useless for the sailors to call and whistle to Jess. She kept just out of reach. She lifted her head and wagged her tail, but she wouldn't leave the lion cub. So it was useless for the sailors to call the Jess, the ship's dog, back because she went inside the cage and she was having good time with lion cub. And it was useless to whistle or call Jess outside because she would not leave the lion cub. None of the zookeepers liked the idea of going into the cage to take her out. So there she stayed. So no zookeeper was ready to go inside the cage to bring back the dog because of the lion. Okay, lion is a dangerous animal. That's why zookeepers did not like the idea of going into the cage. So the dog remained in the cage with lion cub. You can see this here in the picture. Jess, the dog, seems so small in front of the lion cub, right? Next week, the ship sailed without the lion cub and without Jess. So the ship went away without lion cub and Jess because both of them were in the zoo. The lion cub grew into a fine big lion so that Jess looked quite small beside him. As I showed you the picture that Jess looked so small in front of lion cub. Lion cub grew into a big lion. And the story says, for it's a true one, that Jess and the lion lived happily together for the rest of their lives. This is a true story. And Jess and lion cub began to live happily together in the zoo for the rest of their lives. People came from all over the country to see them and were amazed at their strange friendship. Amazed means surprised. So it is a strange thing, right, that a lion and a Jess stays in the same cage. It was strange for the people. So they came from all over the country to see their friendship. Okay? Amazed. Amazed means surprised. Let's underline the new words of this page. Delight. Delight means happiness or pleasure. Straw. Straw means dried stalk of grains. It is also known as a fodder, means food that the cattle or livestock eat. Whistle. Strange. Strange means odd. Amazed. Amazed means surprised. We have finished the reading of this story. Let's see the new words of all the pages that we have read today. Read the words one by one with me. Friendly, full grown, waved, stared, rolled, yelp, jerked, delight, straw, and the last one is whistle. Let's discuss the key points now. I'm going to ask few questions that you have to answer. Are you ready? Very nice. Let's start now. What was Jess like to the lion cub? Jess was just like a mother to lion cub. Very nice. She looked after lion cub. Okay, she was just like his mother. What was getting difficult for the sailors? When the lion cub grew into a big lion, the sailors found it difficult to feed the lion cub. So, feeding the cub was getting difficult for the sailors. Okay? Where did the sailors keep the lion cub? Zoo. Very nice. The sailors kept the lion cub in the zoo. How did the lion cub feel in the zoo? Was he happy there? Was he enjoying without sailors and Jess? No. So what is the answer? He was lonely and unhappy in the cage. Okay? Lion cub felt lonely and unhappy in the zoo. Whom did the lion cub miss at the zoo? Sailors and Jess. The lion cub missed sailors and Jess, his dog mother, at the zoo. What did people come to see at the zoo? A strange friendship between Jess and lion. Okay, people came to see this strange friendship between Jess and lion at the zoo. So my dear students, we are done now. We have finished the lesson today. I hope you have liked and enjoyed this story. Thank you for watching this video. I will be back with another lesson. Till then, take care. Allah Hafiz.